episode number 48 of the Nintendo Jump Podcast. We are a weekly discussion podcast created for Nintendo gamers by Nintendo gamers. It is the week of May 20th. Man, we are approaching E3 in a hurry, and that is really exciting. My name is Daryl, and today I'm once again joined by one of my favorite people on this planet, Sergio. How you doing, man?
Hey Daryl, I'm doing quite well, and I am just as excited as you are. Who knows what we're in for? It could be a lot. It could also be a lot of disappointment, but I kind of doubt it. I expect big things. I think Nintendo's going to deliver.
I mean, as we all know, when you expect big things, what could possibly go wrong coming from Nintendo? Yeah, there we go. And another of my very, very favorite people, Kevin. How are you this week?
I'm doing very well. You know, I got not my tea, but I got seltzer water flavored with cranberry and lime juice from Trader Joe's. The fourth best place in the world, as we've talked about from last week. So, I mean, got to have some seltzer water, keep myself refreshed. I'm good to go. And I am also very excited about Nintendo's upcoming Direct for E3. They always hit out of the park. And, well, always as in, 85%. So 85%.
I'll say I always enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what even when they did the do the Mario dance thing at the end for 5 minutes, that was pretty enjoyable too. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. In personal news, I am podcasting from a new podcast control center. Well, I by that I mean I just got a chair. I got a new chair, so I'm pretty happy. I'm living the hashtag chair life. We're doing okay over here. So.
May I ask, what kind of chair is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's a gaming chair.
Ooh.
let me actually look this up real quick.
Schmancy.
Well, my old one was, I mean, it probably showed up on the recordings in a couple cameos. It was creaking and cracking and not doing too well. I am now sitting on a Jumiko gaming chair, ergonomic, black and blue, awesome looking, really comfy. So, no, they're not a sponsor, but hey, I got a new chair, so I'm happy about that.
Does it have very good lumbar support? Because that's always important for a chair.
It is pretty good, and when you guys are talking about something, and I can just kind of like recline back and just kind of chill out, so pretty happy about it so far. But anyways, enough about chair life. Kevin, what are we actually talking about this week?
Well, Daryl, we're going to talk about Mario Kart Tour. But yeah, and I understand that you got the beta email. Excuse me, it's not beta email. It's an email for the beta.
Yeah, I got this new thing called email.
Yeah,
it's in test right now, but it's pretty cool.
Have you heard of email, friend?
I think it's going to revolutionize communication as we know it.
Oh man, that's awesome. But beta email. Oh man. Okay.
Being published by Nintendo for some reason. I don't know.
Oh. Wow. Nintendo's always innovative, so I mean it's all good. But anyway.
No, I have been playing Mario Kart Tour. I was one of the lucky ones who got selected for the beta, and to my surprise, I've seen a lot of people talking about how they were not selected for it. So I actually feel kind of fortunate right now. So it worked out. I got the email pretty smooth. Downloaded it, no big deal.
Nice.
Loaded it, went through a little tutorial, and first initial thought was, wow, this looks good. I'm playing as Toad, and it's extremely Mario Kart. So for first impression out of the gate was really strong, and then after the tutorial it downloads a large update, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, I guess. And then I get into the actual game. So there's a couple things, and there's a lot of talk about this game, so I'm going to try to kind of wade through what it actually is and what you should expect with it. One, this is a free-to-play Mario Kart game on cell phones. Well, I should say on mobile. You can play this on like iPad, I'm assuming, once it actually comes out. But that should really set your expectations for what this game is. This is not, and I can't say this clearly enough. This is not going to compete with any current Mario Kart game, period. It's not. If you go in expecting, hey, this is going to be as good as Mario Kart 8, that expectation is in the wrong place. So I think a lot of gaming sites have kind of come out talking about the game. A lot of people who have signed up for the beta are talking about it now in kind of a negative light. And I want to be clear. I mean, this is not. It's a free to play mobile game. I mean, it acts very much like a free to play mobile game. So I'll get into the specifics there, but I just hedge your expectations just a little bit, guys. So to actually play it, you can either use swiping the screen left and right to turn with like automatic drifts. So when you turn more, it just kind of drifts for you. Or you can turn it to this this gyro control. So tilt the phone back and forth to play and tap the screen to do like drifts and stuff. It's very much Mario Kart. So it's got racetracks from primarily the 3DS game, Mario Kart 7, which is interesting because a lot of those tracks did not make it into Mario Kart 8. So like I remember I loaded up into Dino Jungle the first time. I was like, wow, I remember this course. This course is a pain in the butt. Anyways, so and I'll say it has some elements that are kind of new for the series in that, it's got the gliders and basically everything that it had from Mario Kart 7 specifically so far. I'm a few cups into it. And tracks that you recognize. It's got the item boxes. You're racing against other entities of some sort, and the reason I'm hedging on that a little bit is because they have players' names. They do not act like real people. So I think the assumption right now is they are being controlled by computers, or there's some like approximation of how people play. I don't know exactly how that works. It's really odd because typically I'm blowing them out of the water like just terrible, and they'll run right over banana peels and stuff, which I mean it might be inexperienced people, but I'm kind of betting it's just AI, to be honest. But it has like real life names like gamer tags and stuff that are not like the standard fake gamer tag. So it's
That's strange.
There's
really
no
strange.
It's really odd, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is. There's been a lot of discussion about what it might be, but it's also the quote unquote matchmaking with these people is extremely fast. I mean, to the point that I don't think it could be matching you with like 8 other players or however many there are. Anyways, so kind of weird there, but then you just start the race and you go around the track and you pick up item boxes and coins, and it's a track you remember, and you're drifting around turns, and you're going over boosts, and you're gliding, and you are playing Mario Kart. I mean, so for that to be on a cell phone, and another thing that came out that was a surprise to people, really shouldn't have been, the game is in portrait mode, so you're holding it with one hand. I don't know if you guys remember back to Super Mario Run. I think it was Miyamoto talking about eating a hamburger while you're playing the game or something like that. I'm
the best way to play.
I'm flashing back to that again. But so for positives, I mean, this is very much free to play Mario Kart. It feels like Mario Kart. It is pretty fun to play. For negatives, it is very, very toned down in terms of difficulty, controls, speed, things like that. It feels slow initially, and you start out at 50cc, so it was made to feel slow, but it feels slow even for that. And there's auto acceleration, so you don't have to hold a gas or anything like that, so it just goes.
Oh, nice.
And there's auto steering, to the point that I actually actively tried to steer off of the course and had trouble doing it. And especially when you like go into a drift, you can like drift just back and forth across the track. It's kind of crazy. I'm not talking about snaking. I'm talking about like hold a left drift and just like move wide distances while in a drift. And it's very much like almost a concession for how hard it is to play a touchscreen game.
Dang.
So there's that, and then you actually get into, so that's all the gameplay stuff, and now I'm gonna flip over the page and talk about the dark side of this game. Again, it is a free-to-play mobile game, which comes with all of the things that a free-to-play mobile game should come with, quote unquote, meaning multiple currencies and gacha elements and ways to spend money to buy certain currencies to get more time to play. Oh, by the way, there's a stamina meter, so you can only do certain races. certain number of races at a time. There's also, as you unlock cups, it actually takes a little while for the new cups to come in. It'll tell you this cup is under construction, check back in 15 minutes, which I think is interesting. Over time, you are either buying or earning through racing some emeralds. These emeralds are used to, I forget exactly what they
Wait, Emerald?
tell you.
Is this Sonic?
Yeah, it's Chaos
Like,
Emeralds.
whoa, yo.
Except you
Crossover.
get like hundreds of Chaos Emeralds, so I mean the whole world is chaos. Anyways,
That's dope.
so you use these Chaos Emeralds to play. I forget the terminology it uses, but you basically go to this warp pipe and you launch a new thing out of the warp pipe, and that could be a new character, it could be a new cart, it could be a new glider. So you've got 3 customizable things, and each track in each cup has certain characters, carts, and gliders that do better on it. So certain characters, every time you go over an item box, you will get 3 items instead of 1 or 2. Certain carts just do better. Certain gliders give you better items out of those item boxes.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I mean, if you play a course and you don't have Daisy, but Daisy's the one who does really well, then you're kind of at a handicap and such. And so yeah, again, it's a free to play mobile game, acting like a free to play mobile game. It's also acting like Nintendo's other mobile games. Meaning mostly like Fire Emblem Heroes has a lot of this type stuff in it.
Right.
So I don't know. This got a lot of pushback, and people talking about microtransactions, and this is really scummy and terrible and such. First of all, this is in the beta. You cannot actually buy anything, so I don't know what the currency conversions are from real life to emeralds in game. So far, I have not run out of stamina, even though I've actually been playing quite a bit. Period. I haven't run out of stamina, and the game keeps throwing emeralds at me, so I haven't really felt the need to get more of them anyway. So I don't know. Yes, they're there. Yes, they're kind of obnoxious, just in the same way that all mobile games are. But I don't. Just to try to be kind of a calming voice, I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. And you know, if you've been playing Mario Kart 8 and trying to win our time trial competition, which is going on right now, you should check out our Discord for more information.
What?
This is probably not the game for you. I know that's a little counterintuitive. If you like Mario Kart, don't play this game. But no, that's kind of
okay.
That's kind of what I mean. Like if you appreciate Mario Kart, you really like the series, you probably won't like this. This is not for you. It's for the kids who don't have Mario Kart or interested. It's for, you know, moms, dads, anybody, you know, who's kind of bored on a cell phone, wants to play a Mario Kart game. They haven't played one in years or something. You know, they're gonna eat this up, and I think they're gonna really like it. I don't think it's bad. I think it's actually a good little game that will not in any way compete with any sort of console or handheld Mario Kart. So that's kind of my full diatribe on Mario Kart Tour. I think overall, I'm actually kind of pleasantly surprised at how good the game is for free-to-play mobile game.
You know, so when you're playing and you're racing, is it like 30 frames per second? Is it 60? Like, how does it, like, in terms of the frame rate, how does it play?
It's
is it
142. No, I don't know. I'm
wow, that's a pretty. I was gonna say.
I'm really not the guy to ask about frame rate. I don't really notice it. I'll say it looks and runs better than I expected it to.
Okay. So what kind of characters are in the game? Like, is it just like, you know, your typical like Mario, Luigi?
Well, there's
Peach,
Mario.
Like, okay.
He's definitely in the game. Yeah, it's exactly what you would expect. So,
Okay.
Mario, Luigi, Toad, Daisy.
Well, I would expect
Peach.
Yoshi, and I believe
Yeah.
he's not there. So
Is Yoshi not in it? I wasn't
believe
sure.
so.
Oh, no.
What?
I
Oh,
know. I don't get it.
Well, you know why they're gonna have like a special weekend event that you know.
They should
If you
protest
earn
that.
500 emeralds, you'll unlock Yoshi.
Yeah.
Hey, they're all green. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh.
I mean, they're complaining about microtransactions. We should complain about not having Yoshi. I mean,
free
Yoshi,
Yoshi.
man. Yeah, I was gonna say. put that as a hashtag. But yeah, I mean, what?
Yeah, that's odd. I didn't actually. So I mean, forgive me. I didn't actually notice it. But I unlocked Koopa and Donkey Kong and Mario and Luigi and Daisy and bunch of
Koopa.
characters. The Koopalings are here, so maybe there's just kind of a weird hodgepodge of characters. I don't know.
I haven't heard that term in so long. Hodgepodge.
Okay.
No, for real. Because people usually don't use that term.
It's a strange amalgamation of characters here. No.
Ooh.
So again, I'm just gonna say, like, I expected literally nothing going into this. When they announced Mario Kart Tour for cell phones, I didn't know what to expect. What I kind of got was a very, very toned down, slower version of Mario Kart 7. Not bad. That's really not bad.
No, that's cool. And I think you alluded to it already, but you can't snake in the game, right? It's like super hard to do.
No, I think you probably can, to be honest, because the drifting is so loose. You probably can. Not that it matters. I mean, again, you're not really playing against anybody, as far as I can tell. There's a quote unquote ranked mode, but I don't even know what that is. So, like, I made it to rank number 1, and I was like, sweet, and I don't know what that is. So if it stands, I guess I get 30 emeralds, which yay. I don't know. So I don't think it's a huge deal either way.
The emeralds are throwing me off so much. Cause, like, I keep thinking Sonic. Like, they should have like a Green Hill Zone like track with like Sonic as a new character. I don't know, but
yeah, I gotta say they've got a ton of retro throwback courses to like Super Nintendo and such. Like Choco Island 2 is here.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I think we're pretty much playing Mario Kart 7. I think a lot of that was there too, but it's fun to see these courses that I kind of forgotten about. So I don't know. I probably will after a little bit. I'll probably end up just uninstalling the game. No big deal. Had enough fun.
Choco Island is one of my favorite tunes and tracks of all time in the Mario Kart world. So where's my
that was specifically for you.
No, where's my beta email? My email beta. Oh man, I'm still waiting for it. No, it's all good. I mean, like you said, it's a crapshoot. I mean, it's by random. Whoever gets it gets. Whoever doesn't, it's all good. I mean, but I'm glad that you were able to play it. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people do expect it to be like, this next Mario Kart, but I mean, yeah, it's on a mobile phone. There's only so much you can do on a mobile platform for a video game, and especially for Mario Kart. I mean, it sounds like you had a decent time. I'll get into it later, but with the microtransaction sort of thing, I mean, people should expect it. Like it's the formula now for a lot of the games out there, the gacha style. I mean, if people are complaining now, like it shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, so I mean, we're mentioning that this is kind of to be expected mobile game formula and such, but this kind of leads us to our next big piece of news this week. Sergio, you wanna tell us what's going on?
Yeah, for sure. And basically, earlier this week, we found out that Belgium is passing some laws that basically are against loot boxes and gacha type of monetization in mobile games, which kind of led to I would say big news that Nintendo is actually gonna stop at least 2 of their games because they have this business model sometime in August. We're talking about Fire Emblem Heroes and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Basically, you're not going to be able to even play the games after that. You cannot get them or play them after August. And in a way, it's telling you, well, Nintendo is very set in keeping this type of monetization, at least for these 2 games. They have others that are not like that. In those games can keep going, But I thought it was pretty big news that, yeah, it's gotten to this point. I know it sounds like other countries might be looking into this as well, and it does make you wonder, what,
including the U.S.
Yeah, and what works, what doesn't, why, and just the all of the logistics of the way these mobile games are made. But going back to your discussion there all about Mario Kart Tour, it brings up a good point that for Nintendo, yeah, it's a way of making money if people end up buying or spending money to get emeralds. But on Nintendo's side, it's also a very nice way to either introduce or reintroduce gamers to their franchises. Oh, well, there's this sort of limited Mario Kart mobile game. Well, I kind of dug it. Maybe I will like this Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You kind of lead them to your home system.
Man, I imagine going that direction is really cool. Like
Yeah.
you go from tour to like 8. That would be, oh man.
That'll be a nice jump.
Yeah, and Nintendo kind of made a big deal about that when they were basically embracing mobile games, and they said, well, we have our games. We want to use mobile games as a platform for people to jump to our side, basically. It's like advertising for the games they were already making. And, everyone expecting them to say that, but it's kind of like it sounds like it's actually true.
Well, yeah, I mean, dang.
Yeah, and they came out earlier this year or late last year, somewhere in there, talking about how they wanted to better utilize their mobile market as an actual like money making tool. So yeah, I mean, kind of saw this coming. It makes me kind of curious about what Dr. Mario is going to be. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to that. And
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, we're really, not to get too political, but we we do live in the USA. For the country to be considering, a better control / ban of loot boxes as a whole, and along with it, some of these mobile strategies. This might get really interesting in the near future. We might have to see some big shakeups of some sort.
Yeah, and it really it does hit home a little bit just because I mean it really depends on one word, control. Like what you have the ability to purchase these loot boxes, and I mean if you have a family and you let your kid play with say Mario Kart Tour, and say that eventually we'll have like the microtransactions and be able to and the kid will just without knowing any better just be able to purchase and purchase and purchase and all that, like just buy all these things without the parents' knowledge at first, and then rack up a big bill, and then the parents will be like, "Oh, well, this is terrible. Why would the kids have this ability, or why would my kid have the ability to purchase in the app or and stuff like that?" But I feel like there's a lack of education at times where when you're introducing your kid or even to yourself, like what these gotcha games are, you should be fully aware that hey, you have the ability to pay more to play more, pay to play, but I think there's just some sort of self control that needs to be exercised. But apparently, as a whole, that may not be as easy, and so I mean that's why you have like countries like Belgium passing these laws for video game loot boxes, just banning it. And I can see that. I think it just really depends on. I mean, that's the thing. It's control. Like, how much are you willing to bet that the majority of people in where we live in the States, like, do they have the control to, not relegate, regulate what they spend money on? And I think for me, one solution to this, and this doesn't have to be for every game, but so one of the games that I love to play, I used to play a lot of it on the mobile platforms. These are the games by Kairosoft. Now, Kairosoft is a company that creates these simulator mobile games. The genre doesn't really matter as much for what I'm about to talk about, but basically you pay like $5, okay, $4.99 for one of these simulator mobile games, and you just play for however you want. I think that's a much better formula, than having the video game loot boxes. Now, business-wise, stupid idea, because you're limited to how much money you can make.
Yeah.
But I think that in terms of reducing the level of controversy that can happen, if you want to play it safe, I think this is a way to go. Now, granted, it's not going to be a money-making machine, but at least you are regulating how much people are spending on your game. Like I said, business-wise, it's the stupidest idea you can ever do.
Well, it's funny because Nintendo actually did this, right? So they released Super Mario Run, which is honestly probably still their best mobile game as far as an actual video game goes, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Mhm.
It's a stripped down version of Mario, but it's actually a
Right.
very good stripped down version of Mario. Like
Right.
it's not bad at all in what it's doing. But they released it for $10, and they put it on the app stores and charged $10 for it, and everybody freaked out. They're like, $10, $10 for this? No, absolutely not.
Right.
And gave Nintendo a bunch of crap for releasing this game for $10 when, by the way, they just released an actual, I mean, it's short but a fairly adequate Mario game for $10. So the video gamers among us are going, hey, this is a great deal. the phone users are going, this is stupid. And honestly, that game kind of bombed for Nintendo, which, I mean, again, I just called it maybe the best one they've put out thus far, so that's a little sad.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how the different models actually work and don't work, because I tend to agree with you. Give me something I can pay a set number of dollars for and just play. I like that, but that is very clearly not what the world seems to like for whatever reason. It's rather it's rather interesting.
It is, and I think the perception of having something free initially, I think that is like what gets to a lot of us. Like, oh, right, like, oh, it's free, so I can try it right now, and then see what happens later. And I think that it's like getting a sample of ice cream at a local ice cream shop. You know, you take a sample and and hopefully you don't just get.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. Hopefully.
150 pounds later. I wish I'd never taken that sample.
I need to take a break. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You know, so it's like you take a sample and they get you. No, but okay. So, all right.
So I actually I have a question. Sergio, did you ever play Animal Crossing Pocket Camp? I think I know the answer.
Oh yes, I did. And it kind of brings to point that even if it's a free game, you know, and they have these gacha things and loot boxes and random things and different currencies that you have to deal with, there's also different levels of that. So to my point, yeah, I played Pocket Camp. I was trying to do the math. I think I played it for about 80 hours already.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
But
wow.
because there's a lot to do for free, and basically just by playing the game a lot, and I mean a lot, you can get whatever you would spend real money on. But again, you have to really, really play it constantly. Every 3 hours, you have to play about an hour, basically.
Oh, wow.
Which is a lot. And yeah, I played about 80 hours, but I've also spent about $120 on the whole thing. I'm not patient, and sometimes they have KK slider related things that I need. So, and that's a lot, but it's Animal Crossing, so it's okay. No, but also on top of that, another mobile game, a Pokemon Shuffle. Did either of you play that? It's a match 3 puzzle game.
No, I knew about it. I didn't play it.
So that one is also free. It actually came out on the 3DS first, on the 3DS eShop, and then mobile. I played that a lot, and I didn't spend a penny on it. And I always felt bad because I played it a lot, and I had a lot of fun with it. But it was just a matter of, you get to play about 15 minutes every 2 hours. And I had a lot of fun, but it was never enough to kind of force me to, or convince me to spend money. And I guess in a way I said, well, I'm going to combine Pocket Camp and Pokemon Shuffle, and I'm going to give Nintendo money on this one for the other one. But basically, yeah, even if it's the same type of monetization system, they can tweak it so that the more you play, basically you get what you would be paying money for. And it's a matter of finding the right balance, because I think they can work. And I also think that charging $10 for Super Mario Run, that can also promote a real Mario game. You buy it, you play it, and you're like, oh man, I want more. Well, I haven't played this new Super Mario Brothers Deluxe or something. I guess I'll get that. And that works for Nintendo in both ways.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about just getting your brand out there. As long as you're not, just weakening the brand by doing so. Like, as long as the the games or apps or whatever you're actually using are competent, which I would say thus far every one that I've played that they've put out has been pretty competent. I mean, it's not there are fun video games at the core of these things. So I mean,
Right.
I've been like, don't get me wrong, I am not a mobile gamer. I do not really play games on my phone at all, period. But you know, the Nintendo ones come out and I'll mess with them for a little bit. I had Fire Emblem Heroes, and that was pretty fun. It was a little broken at the start. Like you got to a point where you could not progress without paying some money. I think they fixed that at this point, but I haven't gone back to it. Mario Run is really good, as I said. Mario Kart is surprisingly good, as I said. So I mean, as long as they're not weakening the brand, there's something to be said about just getting more of it out there, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know, for me, like with mobile games, I mean, I definitely consider myself a mobile gamer. Well, there's one game that I still play. I did take a break before, but I've been playing it again since earlier this year. Pokemon Go, which
Nice.
you know, it was a huge phenomenon in terms of mobile gaming back in 2016. I remember when it first came out in July that year, and you know, everybody I knew. Sorry. 85% of people I knew were into it. That's the magic number, okay?
Oh, thanks. I was curious about that.
Yeah.
I'm also curious about one other thing. You said you took a break, so at that point, was it Pokemon Pause?
Yo, put that. I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Pokemon Pause.
It's not quite Pokemon
man.
Stop because you came back to it. So Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, but no. But and you know, for me, like, and with Pokemon Go, let's just get into the weeds of it. You know, it is a free-to-play game. There is a somewhat of a gotcha element where you can pay money to get more Pokecoins or Pokecoins, and you can use those Pokecoins to, you know, expand your Pokemon box, your item box, get different items such as lures, lucky eggs to get double EXP, egg incubators, and different lure modules for different various effects. And then you can also buy gift boxes, which comes with random stuff that you don't know where you're gonna get, like, you know, just like a random, like a train, like just buying a pack of train cards. You don't know what you're gonna get. I don't know how that is relevant, but then you have your styles of clothes that you can purchase and stuff. So things like that. And you know, it's interesting because Pokemon Go. And I just looked this up. So shout out to Forbes. As of September 25th, 2018. I unfortunately couldn't find the latest statistic for this year, but Pokemon Go has just crossed $2 billion in revenue since launch. Okay, that is amazing.
Wow.
All right. Now, I have not spent a single penny on this game, but there are people who have, and now, as quoted right here, it's not the fastest to hit 2 billion ever, but it did so faster than both Clash Royale and Candy Crush. Now, those are two very, very popular mobile games that have just, you know, been on the scene and just killed it, like in terms of popularity and the revenue and all that. So, and there's also Clash of Clans, which I don't know if you play that game, but man, that was such a. I know I was addicted to that for a while, and then I stopped because for whatever reason, I just it was just too addicting. But yeah, I think, you know, I feel like Pokemon Go makes a good balance in terms of what you know, the microtransactions and what's free to play, and it takes advantage of, you know, one of the best franchises in the entire universe, Pokemon. I mean,
Star Wars.
There yeah, there you go. Anyway, so yeah, and you know, I still play Pokemon Go. I think it's an awesome game. You know, it's definitely for those who follow the game. You know, they're up to the 4th generation. I hope they get into 5th, which would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Pokemon Go does a very good balance in between the gacha and the free to play type of spiel. So
Yeah, it always seemed to me like that game. Basically, if you play a lot of it, you're gonna get everything that you would get by paying money. Like that one hit the right balance. I think Pocket Camp has the right balance. It took a little while. It was a little bit worse at first, but
Right.
it's been getting a lot better. And another thing that these type of mobile games kind of embrace is special events. You kind of joked about it earlier, but I think even on Mario Kart Tour, they could have crossovers with
Oh, they
Sonic
will.
or other, other racing franchises. And hey, it's the special Sonic weekend. You can only play this course, but hey, spend money and you can be number one or something like that. They're gonna make it better than that. But
Capitalism, the game.
Yo, man. That's interesting that you mentioned that, Sergio, because in terms of like special days where, you get certain things with Pokemon Go, there are certain days of the month or just during the week where you can catch a certain legendary Pokemon. So you go through raids
Right.
where you can go to different parts of, where you live in the city or the suburbs or, the rural area or whatever, just where you live and be able to go to these gyms and be able to fight these legendary Pokemon and then have a chance to catch them. So I think if Mario Kart, okay, I don't know if Mario Kart's doing this, Mario Kart Tour, but what if you're able to go to a certain location and there's like just the Grand Prix and then you're able to race against actual people, Like,
oh,
I don't know, but maybe Niantic Labs should like work with Nintendo to create that sort of like, I mean, that'd be pretty cool actually, be able to go to like, one of your local, like a local spot that people will know in the city or the suburbs or the rural areas or whatever. Just the area. I don't know why I'm saying that, but and just be able to race in a real time racing thing. I mean, because Daryl, when you said that you have to you race against AI that have gamer tags, I don't know. That's just kind of it's kind of lame.
Well, so again, this is a beta, so I mean, it might.
Yeah.
I could see that actually expanding to you're racing against people or something. It's a little bit odd, like it's a little uncanny valley, to be honest, because you're like, I mean, you've got like I can't even really come up. It's like Ninja Mike 123, and it's like that's not something that Nintendo would have put in a game. Like
No.
there's something weird about this, but. They're choosing the right character for this course, and then they're going super slow and hitting every banana. I don't know, but it's just weird. Like there's something odd.
Ninja Mike 123. I mean, I'd like to meet that person. Ninja Mike. If you're out there, hopefully you'll listen to this podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Ninja Mike. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like. I'm gonna go back to I forgot to mention the names of the games that I played with Kairosoft, the company that makes the similar mobile games, but games like Game Dev Story, Grand Prix Story, where you can be you have a game developer shop in Game Dev Story where you can make games and stuff, and Grand Prix Story where you can have your own racing team. I think things like that, like it like I said, you pay $5 and you can play as much as you want. I mean. And then you mentioned, the Super Mario Run where it's like $10 and people are freaking out. I mean, I think it's hard to please everybody, and someone's gonna freak out no matter what. Whether you make a gacha game or you pay up front, like someone's gonna be like, "Wow, I'm gonna complain, and it's gonna be too much. It's not fair." It's hard to please everybody. I mean, but like we've mentioned, there needs to be a balance, and I think Pokemon Go does a great job with that. So,
yeah,
I'm going to...
Even if you made a completely free game and released it and it was completely free, Sergio would feel bad about playing it. So, right. you can't please everyone.
You can't please everybody, man. I mean...
He'd go dump another $20 into Pocket Camp just to make it up.
And who knows, man, maybe... Well, it's... Maybe something will happen where you spend another $20 and you'll meet Ninja Mike 123 in the game and be able to interact with him in Animal Crossing. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just going off of like I don't even know how Pocket Camp works. I'm sorry. So can you meet other people in the game? I don't know. Can you?
Yeah, it's actually very connected. Definitely not as much as Pokemon Go, but it still is. I think Pokemon Go was just a phenomenon by the way it connected you to players, and it just brought out the community into playing this one game. It was crazy. It was, and it still kind of is.
Yeah,
Oh my
bunch of
gosh.
people heads down walking into traffic. And
Yeah.
so, oh, man, that was. I will remember that forever, and I really will.
Oh, man.
Watching people play Pokemon, just acting really dumb everywhere. I played it for a couple days, and then I put it down. I was like, okay, that's cool, and that was it.
Yeah.
I have to admit, it's a really cool thing. Like
Yeah.
that was a cultural phenomenon for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then, back then in 2016, like I've heard of just these sort of like foundations that are, they're hosting these sort of like Pokemon Go sessions where if you go and you play Pokemon Go, you'll be helping to donate to the charities and these foundations and all that, get people more aware of the causes and all that they're championing. Yeah, I can't say that word. Championing. How do you say it? Why is
Chomping.
Chomper, like that Chomper character from Nintendo. Anyway, so Chomper. So there was one time with my friends back home in Southern California where back in 2016, it was a summer and it was a Friday night. We went to play Pokemon Go at the local park, and there was a bunch of people playing because there's a bunch of Pokestops and a lot of opportunities to catch different kinds of Pokemon. And then it was around, I would say 9:26 at night. I don't know how I remember that, but it was like around 9:26, okay? And all of a sudden someone's like, Venusaur! What is a Venusaur? And then like everyone rushed to that Venusaur in like in this one little part of the park. It's literally like the parking lot, right? And like we're all trying to catch this Venusaur, man, and it had a combat power of 35. I still have it on my phone. I still have it right here. Literally, because okay, CP combat power. If y'all don't know, that's how powerful the Pokemon is. Okay, it had 35, and that's really low, especially for a advanced evolved version of
Right.
Bulbasaur. But people went crazy for it because for me, I didn't have a Venusaur. You didn't have a Venusaur. They didn't have a Venusaur, so we had to get a Venusaur, and it was just amazing. Just trying to just catch it. It was actually kind of hard. I wasted like I think probably 15 great balls. It was just like, man, what am I doing? And I caught it. We felt great. We as in like my friends and I, and we caught the Pokemon, and yeah, it was great. And I swear there were at least like 75 people, man. Like it was just amazing.
Oh, wow.
Like, just for one Venusaur, yeah. Yeah. So and like I said, it's just crazy just how much of a phenomenon this is. And I there was a drop off for sure. I don't know about where y'all lived, but for us, I think after a few months, people dropped off. I mean, and just kind of died out for a little bit. And then, well, for me, earlier this year, I just got into it again and just see what's up, and boom, it's now there's like 4 generations of Pokemon, and there's this gift system, and there's raids and all that. I was like, wow, it's actually pretty dope. And then I just want to get into it again, and now I'm here playing Pokemon Go. So, it's still a fun game. I'm a shameless plug for it, and y'all already know that I have a history with, the franchise in terms of how I feel about, the petting Pokemon every 5 seconds and all that. But I mean, it's still a fun game. I
You
love
want
catching.
more of it, yeah.
I want more of it.
Every
it's
4
like
seconds next time.
every 4 every 4 seconds. I mean, it's kind of like having unlimited ice cream samples in a mobile phone. That's how they get me.
Well said. So I mean, I think unless you guys have anything else, I think that's probably going to do it for our mobile discussion. Anything you guys want to bring up?
No, I'm good.
No, I'm good too. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to jump into a listener mail. All right, so from Discord member, friend of the show, Cube, would you like to see one of Nintendo's teams tackle a new genre of video games, like what Pikmin is to a real-time strategy, or Splatoon to a third-person shooter?
Ooh.
So the way the question is phrased, the answer is, would you like to? And my answer is no. There you go.
Whoa.
I'm good where we are. No, I'm kidding.
Satisfied.
So what I would really like to see, and since I kind of caught you guys off guard, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think. What I'd really like to see them focus on, Nintendo has a history of jumping into these kind of convoluted genres that, you know, they've got all these systems and rules and such that everybody's kind of accepted for years, and Nintendo jumps in, blows it up completely, changes everything, makes this really accessible, fun game out of a more complicated genre. I mean, the two examples that Cube brought up, perfect. Splatoon completely reinvented what a shooter is. Just doing things like you have a stealth mechanic and a reloading mechanic and a health refill mechanic that are all tied to the same action, and it makes sense and it works, and it just is really, really nice to play. Pikmin did the same thing to, I mean, real-time strategies are like oof to actually jump into, but Pikmin is a very accessible one. It's cute, it's the world is awesome, it's fun to play, you get into it really fast, you understand it very quickly. So Nintendo's very good at jumping in, turning things on their head a little bit. What I would like to see as their next kind of endeavor in that would be a MOBA, an actual multiplayer online battle arena game. I think that I like the concept of MOBAs, I really do, but playing them is sometimes kind of awful, and it like in many cases. And so the one that's on Switch, Arena of Valor, is a little shorter and a little more manageable, but a lot of the games in that genre just kind of go on for hours. and if you mess up something in the first 10 minutes, you're kind of screwed for the rest of the game, and there's a lot of systems and a lot of things you need to worry about all the time. And if there were ever a genre that I would love to see Nintendo kind of flip on its head, yep, that would be one. I also love the multiplayer aspect, so there you go.
That's a good choice. You know, personally for me, I've had some history with MOBAs in general, but some not the best memories, but I can see why MOBAs would be a really good choice for Nintendo to jump into and make it more accessible, because I think, as y'all may or may not know, you know, getting to a MOBA can be very, very challenging. For me personally, my first one was Heroes of Newerth, or Han.
Sure.
And boy, that was really tough for me to get into, because, I mean, you know, I've had instances where, you know, I got yelled at for making mistakes and stuff, and just, you know, I got some sort of anxiety at the time, just because, like, I mean, we're playing for real, and, like, it's a very highly strategic, just team strategy. There's so much going on, and you just gotta be making the right moves, and sometimes there's no margin for error. But I hope that Nintendo can make something very accessible. I mean, I know that there's League of Legends, which is a bit more accessible anyway, and there's Dota 2, which is the OG. But you know, Dota. But I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, Dota 2 by definition could not be the original gangster.
I was gonna say. What am I saying? Yeah, Dota. Yeah, that is. Anyway, so.
But even still, the communities can be kind of awful. The games can be kind of awful to play and learn and such. And I mean, it's a huge genre with gigantic tournaments and a lot of watchers, you know, streamers and things. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. The only thing I might say is it might be a little oversaturated, but again, somebody as creative and colorful and fun and bright as Nintendo jumping into that genre would be really interesting to me.
I think it'd be a great idea. You know, and like maybe they could take a page out of one of my favorite underrated games, Awesome Knots.
I love that game.
MOBA. Yeah,
I love that game.
Nice.
That's by far my favorite MOBA. It's a
same
side-scrolling shooter platformer, but still with MOBA elements. So kind of, that's a very good pull.
Yeah, and I think if they could do something like that, but you know, in their own way, you know, with more charm and stuff. I mean, no, Awesome Knots is very charming, but I mean, in the Nintendo way, I think it'll be a good choice. I'm gonna be a little biased for this one. Just because, like, I don't think it's a very popular genre
You're like
of games.
Futuristic racer. I'd really like to see what Nintendo could do with that genre.
You know, I I didn't want to talk about that, but now it's already out in the open. Yeah, what kind of futuristic racer? Maybe something with a captain. Something with like, just different cities and.
I mean, well, how most of them have like 10 or 12 racers. I want 30.
Well, yeah, I want
that's
30,
a new.
yeah.
Okay, all right. What's your real answer?
So as people may or may not know, I love the sport of basketball. I breathe it. I watch it all the time. But I always feel like there's this lack of like creative basketball games, just because there's not really a lot you can do with it besides with NBA 2K and NBA Live, which is whatever. Sorry.
Oh wow.
I'm saying that historically, NBA 2K has performed better than NBA Live. Facts. The people. So I would love to have some sort of basketball genre type of game. Like I want something like a Rocket League, but with basketball. I don't know. I mean, if Nintendo can pull that off, I think that'd be amazing. Basketball is a really, really popular sport in the world. It's not the most popular, obviously, because there's football or soccer, but
there's also football.
Now, football is very. I think football is more. The American football is definitely. I think is more popular. In the States,
football
for sure.
is more popular than football for sure.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Right. Yeah. So I would love for Nintendo to make some sort of like basketball animated cartoony type of game. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Please, Nintendo. There are millions and millions of basketball fans all over the world, and I'm sure a lot of them love Nintendo. So make it happen.
Maybe. So I'll say this, and this is not specific to basketball. It's specific to sports games. To me, sports games were just for me, and understand old timer talking here a little bit. Sports games were just more fun on the Super Nintendo than they are now. And
right.
I don't know why that is. I don't know why I plug in NBA 2K19 and they start the pregame show in a video game, and this is realistic. Let's cut to the halftime show. I'm like, this is not the part of basketball that I want to be realistic, guys. I don't need to see an animated Charles Barkley talking to me in a suit. That's not what I want.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
that was terrible.
That was a terrible. Anyways,
it was terrible.
And you kind of see that a little bit with the Madden games. You see that a little bit with like all the wrestling games, and the one exception, FIFA, is a lot of fun. I still really like FIFA as a game, but it's just, I don't know. I wish somebody would just like smack all of these studios and say, this is meant to be a fun video game. Can we just make that, please? Thank you. Like.
Right.
And they try it with like, hey, here's a wacky 2-on-2 big head NBA playground, and sure, that game can be fun too, but that's not what I want. I want a slightly less serious basketball or football simulation game. Just a slightly, just edge it back just a little bit, make it more fun, realize you're in a video game and call it a day. I mean, it's hard for me to argue against one of the best football games of all time being NFL Blitz, which is not in no way realistic at all, right? So it's just, I don't know. I'm even straying away from like the wacky, insane arcadey ones. Just give me something fun. That's what I'm asking for.
Yeah, I have to agree. Even hockey, I would love to have a wacky Mario type of hockey kind of game. I think
Mario hockey would be amazing, and they've done it in Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics. It was very much a mini game, so it wasn't as deep as I'd like. I'd love seriously, if you give me any version of Mario Strikers, he can be playing any sport. I will buy that game.
Yes.
He can play football, he can play basketball, he can play hockey. It doesn't matter. Give me anything like that and I'll buy it.
You can play cricket too. Or,
nah,
lacrosse.
Screw cricket. We're done. That's it.
Oh. Hey.
No,
popular sport.
The only thing I would say not is I don't want another like multi-sport mini game fest type thing. Give me like actual like Mario Strikers level of any sport, and I'd be down for sure.
122%. I am totally down. Not 121, not 123, 122%. I would love that too. Please, Nintendo. Okay.
Nice. Well, I think my wish is gonna be a little bit surprising, and I think that's part of the magic if it ever comes to fruition. I would love to see Nintendo make a really good, groundbreaking, even controversial survival horror game.
Oh yeah,
I
that'd be
think,
cool.
like, simply just what Nintendo made one of those, like, that fact alone will be what turn heads. Speaking of survival horror,
The
so
walking Mario. No, no, it's not gonna work.
so I think hopefully if Nintendo were to explore that side, they could really do something that hasn't been done. It would be a very story driven and very emotional journey. There wouldn't be any jump scares. It would be like something that we haven't played before. And I want
Mm.
Nintendo to do that. I don't know how much involvement they had in Eternal Darkness. I don't think it was that much. I know Miyamoto made or was a key player in making Geist for the GameCube,
Yep.
which wasn't all that good
Whoa.
anyway.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't all that good. You're not wrong, but it was interesting.
and it kind of points to you that he wants to try that, and maybe it's time to revisit that again and work it up with a good team. I don't know if I have a specific team that I would want to. Maybe Retro might do something really good, but I just think Nintendo making one of those games would kind of even push them to make it really good and something very unique.
You and I went to the same place through two different paths there. The entire time you were talking, I was thinking, what would a really scary Metroid game look like?
Yeah.
Yo.
Man, you could make one. You really could. And then
Yes.
you went to the retro route, and I'm like, ooh. Like maybe a Metroid game that you don't even play as Samus, so you don't feel all that powerful in that world. That might do it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dang.
I'd be down to see something like that.
I'm thinking about Left 4 Dead. Just that would be like in the Mario fashion. I mean, that would be or the last. How did I not think about this sooner? The Last
Oh.
of Us, right? I mean, and one of my favorite games of all time in my top 15. Just like having. It is. It really is. I think I talked about before. Getting that adrenaline rush towards the end of the game, and hearing these ridiculous zombie-like characters. I don't know. Have I done that in the show? I don't know if I have yet, but
Yeah, probably. It's a non-Nintendo game, so yeah, we probably hit that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna do it here, but no, maybe probably not. But it really freaked me out because then okay, I'll save it for later.
No,
I want to do it though.
I'm curious. I'm curious what a different maybe a different IP like survival horror might look like from them, but the stuff that they have done that's a little more at Nintendo, meaning the stuff that they've done that's a little more atmospheric and a little bit moodier is actually kind of neat. Like they're not bad at it, to be honest.
Not at all.
Right. And I think the problem itself would be the controversy that would come with that because, Nintendo it's a Nintendo. You associate it with kid-friendly, family-friendly gameplay. And if they did something completely different, I don't know if it would damage the image. It would certainly cause attention. And I kind of feel like Nintendo doesn't want that attention, at least not the Nintendo that we've known so far. But I know Nintendo is changing, and this could be a good opportunity to show, hey, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, I don't know. They're publishing Bayonetta and such. I mean, they're not. I wouldn't say they're avoiding it. Whereas they may not be developing this kind of thing, and even if they were to do one, they may not be it may not be like an internal team developing it.
Right.
But I don't know. It wouldn't damage them to me for them to just say, "Hey, this is a new game." It's M-rated. The ratings are there for a reason, guys.
Right. Yeah.
So, I would probably be like the least naturally aligned to actually want or be excited for that game or anything like that. But it wouldn't negatively affect me. I wouldn't mind it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think right. And Nintendo has a history of just being able to take some of these genres and be able to make it really good, do it really well, a really good job. And I mean, how did I not say this sooner? Look at Arms, like that is a boxing kind of game that they made did a great job on. Like, granted, I felt like they should have released it, maybe a few months before Splatoon 2, or Splatoon 2 should release a little later. But
Yes.
I mean, it's and there's a whole story behind that. But for me, I think Arms is a good example of taking something like that no one would expect, the boxing, and then boom, making it into this wacky game that I think is underrated and that people enjoy. And there's like different kind of characters. You have Springman, and you have that mummy person. Like, how am I blanking out on these characters?
Oh, you mean Master Mummy?
Yes, Master Mummy. Thank you. And that kid.
Okay, just stop.
Sorry.
Yeah, that guy, Kid Cobra. That guy.
Kid Cobra. Right. Oh my gosh! Don't show your pitchforks in front of me. Oh my god! Don't do this to me.
Oh, it's okay. Nobody's playing it now anyway.
Well, that's true.
Too hard.
Okay.
Hey, I actually rebought the game, so I'm one of the nobodies right now.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't buy Pokemon. Whatchamacallit?
We're good at naming things this episode.
Yeah, we are. Pokken Tournament. At least you didn't get Pokken Tournament DX. Play for about a month. Didn't have anyone to play with, and then just trade it back in. Oh man, I had to trade Arms. Well, I traded Arms, which is a terrible mistake, just to get some store credit, and then pay a bit more to get the game. But I ended up trading back in Pokken Tournament. And oh gosh, but I do miss Arms.
Yeah, and you know what? So going back to the controversy, and we're saying, yeah, if it's a new IP or something, what if Nintendo takes one of their beloved IPs, The Legend of Zelda, and imagine basically Zelda with God of War, very dark.
Oh, that would be
Okay, that would be divisive.
yeah.
I would be really down for that, but yeah, I think the divisionness of it, like the controversy, would add so much to it.
Yeah, I don't think they could call it Zelda. I think they would call it, like something similar to like Cadence of Hyrule. But anyways.
Right.
Oh yeah, that would be a good one. Wait, but if you combine Zelda and God of War, then Link would actually have to talk, because like the Kratos, he talks, so that would break the mold. How? I don't know. I mean, that's quite a bit.
Well, excuse me. No.
Oh my God, the Philips CDI games. Oh man.
One of those kind of days. I don't know.
Okay.
Man, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I would at least be interested to see what it turned into.
Nice.
Cool. Before we go, for anybody listening, you still have time. We are currently doing a Mario Kart time trial challenge in our Discord. It is exclusive to our Discord, so please join the competition. All it is, we're defining 4 races, meaning courses, characters, carts, wheels, and gliders. You have to race under those conditions and just set your best time, and then send us a picture of your best time. And at the end of it, each race is good for $5 eShop credit, and the best total time over the 4 races at the end gets another $5 eShop credit. So it's a fun way for people to kind of grind some courses with characters and cart combinations they may never have used before. Thus far, we have had Toad riding an ATV down Mount Wario, and we have had Bowser riding a sneaker in Bowser's Castle, as he does. So,
wait, a sneaker?
Yeah, the sneaker car. So,
wait, what?
It's in a shoe.
Wait.
It's Bowser riding in a shoe.
Is that an update that I missed?
No, base game.
A sneaker? How did I miss that?
Anyways,
no.
So,
okay. I have to look at this
please, if you're interested in this, you still have time. You will have this entire weekend to do the first 2 races, and you will have another whole week to do the races 3 and 4. So please join us.
Hell yeah.
And that is all we got, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is time to jump out of here. So thank you so much for listening. If you would like to chat with us in an awesome Nintendo gaming community, you can join our Discord group. The description of this episode has a link to it if you would like to join. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Twitter and on Instagram as Nintendo Jump, and we also have a Facebook group. Our episodes are on YouTube. You can leave us a comment about anything we discussed today or any topics that you would like for us to discuss in the future. You can send us your feedback via social media or via email at NintendoJumpPodcast@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, the best way to do so would be through our Patreon. That's patreon.com/NintendoJump. Another way to support would be by leaving a review of the show in your favorite podcast application. We would really appreciate it. This is Sergio, and on behalf of Daryl and Kevin, thank you again for listening, and we hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Do 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 do. Do 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 ba 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 da bum ba da ba ba bum ba da ba da ba 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 da ba 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 bye. Bye everybody.
That was
Nice.
that was pretty well done. I was just kind of letting that one go. So
Yeah.
There you go.
Should I do it again?
No, we're done.
Okay. I was gonna continue, but then there's gonna be that part that sounds
Nope,
like someone was-
we're good.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
We're quitting while we're ahead.
All right. If anyone doesn't know, pilot wings, rocket belt, jetpack, go. See ya.